It's lonely when you own a business and you don't have other business owner friends. It's lonely. You can't just go talk to your normal friends and be like, "Oh my gosh, this and this," because they're just going to go, "Why don't you just quit cleaning? Why don't you just quit that little business that you've got? It's and go get a real job and go work for somebody else or something like that." Not realizing that you could be 3 feet from gold. Like all you have to do is it's that mindset, and it's getting around people that are going to build you up and constantly pour into you and help you realize that you can be better. Welcome to Our Business Shenanigans, where strategy meets sarcasm and entrepreneurship gets real. Hosted by Jen and Nicole, best friends and cleaning business owners turned accidental mentors. This podcast dives into the wild ride of building a business, the wins, the failures, and the moments that make you question literally everything about it. We get honest about leadership, growth, burnout, boundaries, team drama, and all the behind the scenes stuff no one wants to talk about, with a healthy dose of sarcasm and storytelling. If you're here for raw conversations, practical insight, and a little business mischief, you're in the right place. No fluff, no filters, just the truth, the laughs, and the lessons. This is Our Business Shenanigans. All right, welcome back to Our Business Shenanigans, where strategy meets sarcasm and entrepreneurship gets real. I am Jen Rogers.
And I'm Nicole.
No last name, just Nicole. You're like Madonna.
Yeah. Nicole Cobb. Okay. Sorry. This whole not having an outline, this whole not having an outline thing, we've already bombed it, but I think we should just keep it so that they can see the real side of like having a podcast.
Oh, I love that. No, I love that.
Okay.
And we don't have to give first and last names. We could just give first names. We could really be whoever we want to be, because on the internet, nobody really knows us anyway.
Yeah. My name's Jessica.
Okay. I'm bad at this. I'm not good at lying.
You can't even come up with a name.
I can't even come up with a name.
My head instantly went to, and Jen gave me a free car.
Oh, gee. She's not the one I gave a free car. She's the one that stole from me that I just had to go to court for. So, oh wait, we're not doing that anymore, right? No more open wounds. We only share scars.
We need therapy. Oh boy. All right. So everyone tuning in, we first and foremost have to apologize because it's been months. It has been months. I think one episode that was kind of pending dropped.
Here's the question though. Did anybody notice? I'm just kidding. You all noticed. I know you've been silently waiting for us to be back.
I have received one message from a follower that was wondering when our next episode would come out. So, that feels good. But I
did receive a message from somebody yesterday saying, "Hey, I'm listening to your episode about VAs, and I agree with you, Jen, about going back to paper and pencil." So,
well, that person's slow. I'm just kidding.
You don't even know.
Jen and I have no idea. Jen and I have we agree to disagree. Well, I disagree to disagree. That I believe the technology should be taught first, because like that's such a huge part of the job, but she doesn't. But
no,
that's just one thing. So we just do things differently. Anyways, let's circle back to. I'm gonna have to clean up a lot of this intro. So, all right.
You or me?
I don't know. That was a good question. So, everyone, thanks for tuning in. Sorry we've been a little MIA. I want to be honest. This episode does, if you cannot tell, does not have like a script or an outline. Usually we have some sort of focus because you're dealing with two ADHD entrepreneurs. We're literally a bunch of squirrels on the loose. It is like herding cats. So we usually have some sort of outline. But this one, we wanted to be a little different. We wanted this one to be like an honest, like, hey, we know we've been MIA. This is where we are now. And so kind of just to get back into the groove. It's going to take a lot of discipline because I have been living my best life not doing this podcast. I do miss
Ouch.
it. I mean, like, I've been busy in like growth mode. Sorry, that did sound really bad. We've been gone for a few months, and I want to say what's been happening behind the scenes is it has been a lot of time and energy, right? So it's going to take discipline for me to get back into the groove of recording, because I have been so busy in growth mode, right? And not even just like percentage growth, revenue growth, but actual like foundational growth. And I think that that is something cool that we could kind of talk about today. But we didn't disappear. I was just in the trenches. Jen, were you in the trenches?
I was doing some stuff behind the scenes. We've been sick a whole lot this season. It's been awful. We dealt with the whole flu bee thing and that was not fun, but no, I've been in the trenches too. I have been building. One of the things that I realized, and I think Nicole agrees with me, is that in our industry, as any home service industry really, is that people, when they start this career path and become a business owner, they don't do it because they want to be a business owner. Most of us did it because we needed money in the beginning and we were good at something, so we just started doing something, and then it's gradually grown into something that has kind of outgrown us. And one of the biggest problems that we face is, okay, now I have to have an office staff. I don't know how to have an office staff. A lot of us have never even worked in an office. So all that to say, behind the scenes, I have been building out training programs for our industry specifically, but hopefully eventually for the home service industry, about how to train an office person, whether it's a salesperson or an office admin or an office ops position or scheduler, dispatcher, or whatever, to try to help our industry fill that gap of what's been missing.
Yes. So I can say in my absence, part of why we had to kind of take a little break and a hiatus was because my sales girl quit in like the busiest month of the year. And she did give, the notice was a little odd. It was like a month, then it was 2 weeks, then it was less than 2 weeks. It was like the timeline was getting shorter and shorter. And the whole time I'm like, yo, we're walking into our busiest month and doesn't work for me. The VA company I was working with, they were getting another VA, and so like I invested the time interviewing and onboarding and getting everything straight for her, and then she ended up no-showing, but they didn't even tell me she was no-showing until like it was like noon the day of, and I was like, hey, is there like a timeline of like when I'm gonna be getting an email, or like she was supposed to start that morning, and they're like, let me look into it, and then later on they're like, oh, she no-showed today. Okay, well this doesn't work for me, and I had already gone back and forth with previously with my previous like account manager on like call outs being told to me too late in the day. Like it was
literally one of your biggest complaints, and that's how you started this new relationship.
Yes. And so I was like, I'm done. They switched my account manager and it was the same issue. And I was like, okay, so now it's a company issue, not just the manager's issue. It's something in their process. So that didn't work for me. I'm sorry, especially with a role like sales, you can't find out an hour after they're supposed to be answering the phones that you have no phone coverage. That just doesn't work. Thankfully, we implemented, workarounds to where we check in to make sure that we're covered. But like, I feel like at that point, I might as well just hire in-house because I am micromanaging. Or if you hire VA directly, they would essentially be calling out to you. And when you have that middleman of an agency, when your VA calls out of work because they're sick, which I completely understand that part, but when they call out because they're sick, but then the VA company doesn't notify the client, that is a disconnect. That is the same as me not showing up for a cleaning, and that does not work.
Right. No,
it just
no. And I don't understand. I don't understand why, as many times, especially that you brought that same concern to that company numerous times. Like it wasn't just like once or twice. It was numerous times that you brought that, to them. Why that was not top on their list of, okay, guys, this cannot happen again to Nicole. It has happened far too many times. Shouldn't have happened at all in the first place. But now we have got to nip this in the bud. And literally they did it with the new person that they were supposed to be onboarding.
But you know what? I think it was a blessing in disguise because, to add more to it, they actually charged me for her onboarding. Like I got double billed. I paid twice, and I was like, this doesn't work for me because I literally paid twice for the month of October or whatever, and I only had a VA for 2 weeks of that. And I was like, they overcharged me over $3,000. So I got a refund way later, but
did they finally give you a refund?
Yes. But we'll just say, I think that VAs were, and the crazy thing is it worked for us. We were super intentional about keeping the culture and the morale, and maybe one day I'll get a VA of my own, like own accord hiring and managing. But I do not want. I don't think I want an agency. I think that it really left a bad taste in my mouth. But, hopefully it works for some people. I understand hiring a company for a cleaning company versus an independent cleaner. So I understand that concept. And I was hoping that the agency would be a little different. I'm sure there's some good ones out there, but I think I was kind of going with one that was sold to me as the best. I paid top dollar for it. Well,
And I went through 3 agencies, so I don't have any leg to stand on.
red flag in the cleaning world when somebody
Maybe
calls
it's
and says,
me.
I've gone through 3 cleaners. No, Jen is just, like I said in previous episodes, she is a magnet for really horrible people. So
That's what I do, apparently.
you're too nice.
I am.
So in that, I will say it was a blessing in disguise because I hired an in-house sales girl and we love her. She is amazing. And dealing with someone in-house, there's just something so different about that connection and the client journey. And when they call and, when the client says, I live here, and when your salesperson can say, oh, I grew up in that neighborhood, or, they understand the landmarks nearby, whatever it is, there's just something next level on that. And our previous sales girl was great. Like, I would hire her back in a heartbeat, but she had the disadvantage of not knowing so much of our culture and things like that.
Right.
So I will say hiring in-house sales is definitely something that I will be doing moving forward. I just see the benefits. I see where that's the first impression for your clients.
It is. And the other side of that too is an in-house salesperson gets to know your technicians and they get to love your technicians and they want to fill your technician schedules. When the schedules are light, they're going, oh my gosh, what do I have to do to fill the schedule? I don't want so-and-so to have a lighter paycheck this week or whatever. Whereas somebody who's out of house, especially in the sales role, they might not interact with the technicians at all on a day-to-day basis. Whereas if it's somebody in-house, they get to see them, they get to know them, they can go to company get-togethers and all of that stuff. So it's easier to build morale and camaraderie around it.
Oh, absolutely. So we definitely, I will say a big part of what made that easy, because again, we walked into the busiest month of our entire year
Right.
without a salesperson. And so I kind of wanted to absorb that role. So I absorbed it. And I will say I was getting my butt kicked. I learned that I do not like Facebook ads. I have a very bad taste in my mouth about it. It made me extra busy for no reason. And it's just distractive marketing. We can do a whole other episode on that later. It's just not worth it for me. The 2 closed leads that we got from it were 2 leads that we had to cancel. Whatever. Anyways, another episode, whole other thing. So let's fast forward. I absorbed the role. I got to see firsthand some inefficiencies, things that were broken in the process because it so much evolves, over day to day, that when it's not your role, you don't realize this isn't realistic or this isn't sustainable or this isn't efficient. And so for me to actually absorb the role and have to do it, and I was intentional about doing all of my touch points, I saw a few things. I was like, I could tweak this. I can automate this. I could, those things. And so I'm super grateful for that experience. But then we hired into a season of busy. And when we hired into a season of busy, the biggest thing that we were concerned about, I think I had a trip coming up, you name it, all the things, was where do we invest all this time into training her? Like, who's
Right.
going to dedicate 2-3 full weeks of nonstop training? And so
Especially
Jen,
when you're in the midst of your busy season trying to answer the phone. How do you train and answer the phone at the same time? Like, that's just chaos.
yes. And I think I am at a point where I'm really done repeating myself. And what I mean by that is not to like one person, but I'm done repeating myself and training the same things over and over. Why do I have to explain my services every time we grow and hire a new office person? Like, it's exhausting.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to beta test Jen's training for basically, that's kind of what I did. I got to beta test it. And it's, from what I hear, you've made a lot of improvements since then.
Yeah.
But I literally was able to make this binder, get everything organized to where my office manager and my new salesperson, it required zero effort for me other than putting in like our mission, our values, our services, our service area, like the things like that, right?
Right. The things that are specific to your company.
Exactly. So I dedicated that time doing it, but guess what? now it's built out that I could grow and hire 4 more salespeople and I don't have to touch it again. That is the beautiful part. Not to mention that it required zero from me once she actually started. My office manager was able, she had her sheets of what she needed. My office manager was able to hold it down. I was still able to go out of town. My office manager just had to dedicate about an hour a day going over her quizzes, her tests, whatever, giving her feedback, all the things, touch base on like oral conversation, answering questions, about an hour a day. So she was not interrupted with her role besides about an hour out of the day. That in itself is beautiful. And the fact that it's built out where it can repeat. And I am truly blown away. It is game changing. Jen, what you created is something that it was a gap that I didn't even know was there. And I just want to shout you out. This is like an innocent plug. That's not what this episode was about. But I want to say that in the midst of like us being gone, hello, this is why. And this thing was invaluable. So I'm super grateful for that.
Well,
I can't.
It's 15 full days. Like it's 15 days of training and bringing somebody into the system and kind of going over everything with them. Like for us, the one thing that Nicole, like we mentioned at the beginning of this, that we argued over was when to add in a CRM or whatever. But even for me, like the CRM doesn't even come into play until later on. Like I methodically thought out all of these things because there is a timeline to it. Like, what do they need to learn first? Where do they need to go from there? What does that look like? And yes, every cleaning business is a little bit different, but the bones are there. Like for 15 days, you can literally just give them this portal. They log in. Every once in a while, you do an oral review with them. Every once in a while, you provide your founder story or your website or, specific add-on services that you do because everybody's are a little bit different. But for the bulk of those 15 days, it's taken care of for you. And one of the things that I've added since you did it is an owner's portal. So you can log into your portal and you can see what each day covers, what documents you need to print for that day to have ready for you so that you go into the day or your manager goes into the day with everything that you need to make them successful that day. And you get an overview and so that you're not having to go through each day as they go through each day. But I do suggest you go through it first. But on top of that, I added new training videos to talk about how to sell sight unseen. If you're not doing in-person estimates and you want to do, over the phone estimates, what that psychology looks like, how to get people to trust you over the phone. It's not about necessarily how to price your service, but it's how to train that salesperson brain to get them to think while they are on the phone and be able to pivot quickly while they're on the phone.
Yeah, it was great. It was great for a season of busy. And I kind of had to like blindly say that we have to do it. Like we had no choice because we were just so busy. Nobody had time to dedicate. And the best part about it is it organized everything in a way where we didn't forget. Like I was so sick of bringing something in the office and like even now there's like one thing that I didn't teach them how to do. And it's like, oh, I forgot to even like cover that. Right. So it removed that gap. And I'm like, man, this is perfect. So it's great. I definitely want to shout Jen out. Even though she's already got a big head, we're going to make her head a little bit bigger just to make sure that, we give credit where credit is due. That was definitely essential for that season. And so now she's trained up and she's doing great. I'm so proud of her. Baby bird has left the cage.
Which meant that you had to do like a mass hiring, right? So that's part of the things you've been dealing with the last couple of weeks too.
We have hired, I want to say 12 people.
Wow.
Within the matter of like 2-3 weeks. I really am grateful. We went to the event in Clearwater and I got some great insight and it's something just clicked in my brain to where I was able to shift my entire mindset about hiring and recruiting, really towards recruiting. And I made a few tweaks, did a few things, worked a little bit of magic, and we are getting slammed. I actually had to email my recruiter today to say we need to cut our Indeed budget because we are getting slammed. Our show rate went from a 15% to a 68% show rate.
It's amazing.
That is amazing. Not to mention, it wasn't just our show rate went up. It was the quality of candidates drastically improved. I was not hiring these low maybes saying, you get a job, you get a job, you get a job. No, the people that we get offered a job genuinely checked the boxes that we needed. So it was a drastic shift. And it's sad because I still see people struggling and I have offered my help, the best that I can. But at one, I had to, in order to do that, it has taken internal heart surgery for myself in my office and revamping our entire mindset for hiring, and it has been working. That's
Well, because
the
it's a
gist of
whole
it.
mindset shift. You go into it with a much different mindset. You're not walking in going, "Oh my gosh, I have to interview these people today." You're going in and you are saying, "Oh my gosh, we have all of these people to interview today." Like there's a big difference in that, and treating them like the leads that they are. The
Yes.
leads that come in for selling a cleaning service, we treat like gold. But the leads that come in for hiring, we treat like they're an aggravation because, we've gotten so burnt out because we have to do it so often. And you've just completely shifted your mindset on that. And I love that.
Yes, and it was huge. And I think that we also manifest a lot. Libby, she even says that manifestation is real. If we wake up every day and we're like, oh, I'm going to deal with a bunch of dumb people in an interview, then you're going to get a bunch of dumb people in an interview. I'm not saying we've never done that, but I'm just saying,
Right.
in general, we've never done that. But I really wanted to drive home to my office that we tell people we're this amazing company and the people that work for us matter. And like these things are true, but why aren't we expanding that same you matter to the interview process? Instead, it was like people were walking in. It's like, oh, are you here for an interview? Yeah, let me show you what to do. Like we weren't rude to them, but we weren't like, hey, how are you? Do you want a glass of water? Like the customer service was missing from the interview process, from the
Yeah.
prospect of that. And I think that that was a big part of it. But I mean, it takes a lot of self-control because in like adjusting your mindset, because I will say my office, they do a phenomenal job. They keep a smile on their face, but I mean, they have interviewed, I can't count how many murderers, like convicted murderers they have interviewed. They have interviewed burglars. I mean, there's like some serious hard crimes like that they have had right in front of them. That's like, I, for one, interviewed someone that scared me so much because he walked around my desk where I actually implemented a policy that we will never have one person in the office doing interviews. Like someone else needs to be there.
What
So
was
that
his
is
purpose for walking around your desk?
he was very intimidating and he wanted to show me something on his phone, but he was already aggressive. He was upset
No.
that he called. I was in the office by myself. Someone called out and he was upset that he called and we didn't answer the phone prior to him coming because I was interviewing people. And
Right,
he was
right.
like, he was showing me, he was like, see, this is where I called. And he got up and walked around the desk to show me that. And I was so scared that when he left, I locked the door.
Yeah. No, thank you, sir.
So those are the things that realistically, that is depleting. Like that, it drains you when you deal with that for years. So there's a lot that goes into it. No, where I remember somebody that owns a recruiting company that told me if they show up for the interview, they qualify for the job. So from that point, just hire them. Basically told me to sit down every single person. This is a true story. They told me to sit
I've
down
heard the
every
same
single
story.
person that comes in for an interview and go over the job details and basically hire them. You're telling me these convicted murderers, these like, absolutely not. We've had like crimes against children, crimes against elderly. I mean, some serious stuff. And I will say I'm super grateful for our vetting that has filtered that out for my client's sake.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Because I think you just posted on Facebook earlier today a screenshot of somebody who was like looking for cleaning subcontractors in some area. And there's no vetting. There's no nothing. Hey, I need help today. I need help tomorrow. Like just show up and I'll pay you. That's terrifying because one, we see some of the applicants who make it through the pre-screening process. So they've already made it through a process that says you've got a car, you're willing to do a background check, whatever the screening questions are, they've already gone through that to get here. If you jumped the gun and just hired them because this other person who gave you this terrible advice said, hey, once they show up, they're ready to go, just hire them. That would be a nightmare. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. You wouldn't even find that stuff out until you start doing a background check. And then you've wasted the time to hire them. And then you've got to have that conversation of, oh, hey, you didn't pass the background check. We can't hire convicted murderers to go into people's houses. That's not how this works. It would be a nightmare. But you see people, especially on Facebook, some of the solo cleaners, God bless them. And it's just genuinely because they don't know any better in the beginning, who put those posts out there. And it's like, hey, I am overwhelmed and I need help tomorrow. Who can help me clean? never met this person before in my life, and you expect somebody just to show up and be a good person.
And I will say, anybody that is unsure, so, I'm not discriminating. I definitely believe everyone deserves a second chance. Whatever industry you are in, what I recommend is reach out to your insurance agent and say, hey, what are the things we should be looking for when we conduct these background checks? Your insurance agent is going to set you clear and give you a clear guide of the things that just in your industry are not acceptable, right? And that is what I recommend for everyone. Everyone in every industry is different. So we have that. We have that clear guide of like what is a liability for us, right? And we're pretty fair. We have given a lot of second chances to people. I've seen people that haven't changed their colors, and I've seen people that have totally done a 360. So it goes both ways. And I don't judge one book off of previous or whatever. I don't know how to word that. So I just want to say that we're really fair. We're really fair. But I think that's a whole nother episode. Jen, your office training was amazing. And
Thanks.
so what that means is we're literally 2 people onboarding and training a week for it was like 6 weeks. It was insane. But I will say that it has made me love my business again in a way. Like these little things make me love my business a little bit more. And I am super grateful for this challenge. My office is coming together to make sure that they are working together as a team to make this a smooth transition, because hiring that many people at once means sales. You got to up the marketing. You got to up the phone calls. You got to up the customer service. You have to improve, the team training. Like there's so much that layered into a successful transition from mass hiring, almost doubling our team, essentially.
But the nice thing about being hired up like that we've talked about before is you don't have to hire from desperation anymore. You're not sitting there going, oh my gosh, we had somebody who had to quit or we had to let them go, and now we don't have enough cleaning techs to fill it to even just service the clients we currently have, let alone add anybody new. So the next person that comes through the door, you're just like, oh, hey, let me hire you because I need a body. You're not in that position anymore. And people, especially when you just are first starting to hire, people don't understand how freeing that is. I would rather be overstaffed and pushing myself to grow new clients than understaffed and trying to figure out how to get through a day if somebody calls out. Like that's a way, way different form of stress. And you are now in the position, and we're slowly getting there, of not having to do that anymore. You're not hiring out of desperation. You've got a bench, you've got people that you've onboarded and that you are onboarding so that you're not struggling with that anymore.
Yes. And to touch base on like why we're mass hiring, it's not because we lost a lot of cleaners or whatever. It is genuinely because we kept hitting a bottleneck where we were not recruiting fast enough. So we went through so long of just very low. Like I said, we had a 15% show rate. So we weren't even able to meet our bare minimum for the growth that we get. Like, so it's not, I can't make 10 cleaners, or I don't even know how many we have, over 15. I can't make that last for 2 years. We are constantly, every day as we're answering the phone, getting new clients, which means we need new cleaners. And we have not been able to keep up with that demand. My team, they're making great paychecks. They're working long hours. You know what I mean? They're not working weekends, thank goodness. I would never make them do that. But I'm not giving them enough room for like when they get sick. They're human. I have 2 technicians that are out sick, and like we just didn't have that grace room, and we're like, okay, let's not do this anymore. We need to overhire for the growth and for the sickness going around. Like we have to stay on top of these things.
Well, I think a really good rule of thumb is if you walk into the office and you go, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're going to do if somebody calls out today, you're already behind the 8 ball. Like you already should have been hiring. If you look at your schedule and you go, if somebody quits tomorrow, I'm screwed. If somebody calls out tomorrow, I'm screwed. You already should have been hiring. You already should have had somebody onboarding and coming on to fill that gap if somebody calls out. It's a fine line to walk between the accelerator and the brake of hiring, especially in the beginning when you're small. But also in the beginning when you're small, if you've got 3 cleaning techs or 2 cleaning techs and 1 calls out, that's 50% of your workforce. Like you have to constantly be bringing on new people if you want to grow at all.
Yeah, I will say that's a whole lesson. I remember a coach going over that is like when you're smaller, call outs hurt more. And the goal is for when someone to call out, the clients don't even notice. that we don't have to bump a job. Like that is a smooth transition. That is, okay, this tech that had 6 hours is now working 7, like a smooth transition like that. And that's ideal. That's what we want. That is the consistency we want to offer. A lot of vision planning. We have our last vision planning with my office this Friday, and it's really good. Like we're talking all about our community impact and what that looks like, and I think that it's really getting everyone on board. And then I think next week we have a meeting with our staff to get our technicians on board. It's just great all around. So that's kind of why I've been absent. It's been in the trenches of just foundation.
Yeah. Well, and you are building out what you want each role to look like clearly. And a lot of people don't do that. They just go, oh, let me hire an admin. Oh, let me hire a salesperson. Oh, let me hire this. And they don't actually map out what the roles are. And that's huge. And that takes time and that takes dedication and a lot of strain and wear and tear on your brain.
Absolutely. And I think we kind of planted the seeds of some of our upcoming episodes, just like to give our listeners, our tens of followers, a glimpse of
You're in
what's
for
to
a
come.
treat.
Yeah, our tens of followers. We're going to probably end up doing a deep dive into hiring systems and recruiting, maybe some sales process breakdown, maybe some trainer development, leadership, mindset shifts. I mean, there's just so much to unpack just from this foundation season, whatever it is. So I think that that'll be really good for us to be able to pass along to our listeners.
Absolutely. Because again, like I said earlier, we don't go into it to start a business, and it is confusing and it's lonely when you own a business and you don't have other business owner friends. It's lonely. You can't just go talk to your normal friends and be like, oh my gosh, this and this, because they're just going to go, why don't you just quit cleaning? Why don't you just quit that little business that you've got? And go get a real job and go work for somebody else or something like that, not realizing that you could be 3 feet from gold. Like all you have to do is it's that mindset, and it's getting around people that are going to build you up and constantly pour into you and help you realize that you can be better. Nicole and I push each other all the time, friendly competition, whatever.
Because I'm a pusher.
You are a pusher. We need that little gif. I thought I was the pusher. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But having somebody that you can bounce that off of, or having somebody you can cry to on those days that just suck, because there are days that just suck and there is no way around it. You find out you owe, $1 million to your workers' comp company. You find out you owe $1 million to the IRS, whatever. And you're sitting there and you're going, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? If you don't have a group of other business owners around you, especially in your industry, it's hard to navigate that stuff.
Yes. And we were really good at, like you said, I think you hit the nail on the head in the beginning. We were really, really good at cleaning. And then we got thrown into this office and we're like, what do we do? So I think that the business we thought we were building versus the one that we are actually building has evolved over the years, right? Like my purpose and vision has shifted so much, and that's okay because now it's expanding and broadening. We went from cleaning company to operations machine. We're going from scrappy hiring to recruiting systems. We're going from owner-led sales to trained sales structure, from informal office support to structured training. Like there's so much that evolves over the years with the cleaning. It's not about cleaning windows or washing baseboards anymore. Now it's
or
about
what vacuum.
How do we repeat this? How do we get in sync? How do we get consistent? How do we, and fine tune this? And I think that that's the beautiful thing about evolving as a business owner.
And if you're a small company and think that that doesn't apply to you, oh my God, does it apply to you more than anybody? Because it's so much easier to build systems and processes as you go versus getting to be, a $750,000 company or $1 million company. And you go, oh crap, I have no systems or processes in place. What do I do with that now? Start building it now. What does it look like when you answer a sales call? What do you want the next person to repeat? What does it sound like when a client has a complaint or when you have to adjust a schedule? Take 2 minutes. I highly, highly, highly suggest the book One Layer Deep by Libby DeLucian, because she breaks it down into just tiny little micro plays. It doesn't have to be something that's a 27-page, SOP that nobody's going to read anyway. Just having a question and an answer. What happens when this happens? This is what you do. Just so that you've got something. So when you do get to that point that you are going to be hiring, it makes it so much easier to bring them on, to train them in what you're doing. It's so much easier, even though it sounds overwhelming as a smaller company, than revamping as a big company.
Yeah. Yeah. Libby is a genius. She has so much good, valuable insight, and she's so passionate about helping the cleaning industry, and it really shows. So I'm
We
super
need to have
grateful
her
for.
on.
Yeah, we
We
do.
also need to have the people from CleanCon on. Maybe I can reach out to them. If you guys don't know, there is a conference coming up for the cleaning industry called CleanCon. It's in Indianapolis. It's in March. So depending on when you're hearing this, March of 2026, they plan on doing a couple a year. But again, it's people look at it, and I've seen the Facebook posts where people are like, oh my gosh, I'm not investing, I'm not spending that much money, that's expensive, I'm not going to do it. You can't look at anything like that, whether it's a training program, a coaching program, whatever you get involved in. You can't look at it like, oh my gosh, that's so expensive. You have to look at it as like it's an investment for you. It's where you go and you learn from people who've been there before you, who've gone through the same things, and it's just a game changer when you get around other cleaning business owners, especially.
It's really not that much. So
It's really
and
not.
I say that in the lens of somebody that went to an event. I went to an event. I paid, I want to say like $500 for the ticket, or I can't even remember what I paid, plus the flight and the lodging. I remember before every meal checking my bank account just to make sure I could afford the next meal. It was very, very tight, and I could not afford it, right? But I invested that in myself. I came home and immediately my sales grew over $10,000 that one, and it was just me and like two helpers at that time. And $10,000 was a lot of money to grow in 1 month from that one conference. So it's an investment. If you don't want to invest in yourself, that's fine. Keep running on the hamster wheel, but don't knock the people or the event that is
Or try to
beneficial
convince
for
other
others.
people. Yeah, try to convince other people not to do it because it's too expensive.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, Jen. Is there anything you want to add?
Um, I don't think so. It's been a busy couple months. We hired a salesperson too, which is what forced me into creating the sales training program. Same with an admin. We hired an administrative ops position, so I created a training for that. So there's been just a lot going on behind the scenes. I feel like I know I have not been in the day to day of my business in a while because I've been trying to build out these processes and structures so that they're repeatable. When we bring on somebody new, we just plug and play and say, here you go. This is the training that you have. This is what you need to go through. I've been creating, videos even for in-house when we have interviews now. There's a video of me that plays that explains the company, it explains the job so that we don't have to repeat that every single time. That takes up a lot of time for my office manager to go in and answer questions while she's trying to ask questions and find out about the person that we're interviewing. Now there's a video. It just plays. It talks about how we pay. It talks about our service area. It talks about the things required about them so that once they come back to her, it's just her asking questions and really narrows down the amount of time needed. So I've been trying to focus a whole lot more on that and building out that side of the business now that I actually have time to do it. Which has been fun because this is the fun stuff that I like to do. Not so much the day-to-day stuff. So that's exciting, I think.
Yeah, I'm super
Yeah,
proud of everything you're building and everything you're doing.
thanks.
And she wasn't going to say anything, but I'm going to call her out. She's in the process of buying her very first building.
I am. I am. If all goes well, by February 27th, we will own our own building. And that's super exciting and terrifying at the same time. I'm really excited for the opportunities that it's going to afford us and um, being able to stretch out a little bit because we're kind of getting crammed in this office that we're in now. And it's really about the same price that we're paying for rent, a little bit more, not too terribly crazy, but it's ours. And if I improve it, I'm improving our building. I'm not improving a building for somebody else's investment. So really excited about that.
Look at that glow up. All right, so let's take it back. Jen, back in the day with her independent contractors, cleaning with a broken collarbone, now has a sustainable business that is an operational force that is running while she's got the flu for 2 weeks.
Oh my
And
gosh,
is
I haven't
still
even been in the
growing.
office.
And she's about to buy a build. That is amazing. You have really taken off into your, I don't know, profit pathways career. I don't even know what to classify that as.
Yeah.
So you have really been doing amazing things. So don't
Thank you.
discount yourself on that. You didn't really bring a bunch of like, I've been doing this, this, and this to this episode like I did, but you've been doing a lot and you move in
I have.
silence. And I think you should be really proud of yourself. So if
Thank you.
anyone ever looks at Jen and thinks it's been easy, it has not by any
No.
means.
No,
So
but I am very proud of what I'm doing, and I'm very proud of the growth, and I I'm really excited to help change the industry because, like I've said a million times over, I call myself an accidental entrepreneur because I did not go into this business to start a business and to become a business owner. I kind of just had it thrust upon me, which is what most of us do. But I want to be an intentional CEO, and I want to have intentional growth and intentional just mindset work. I want to constantly be growing, constantly be learning, constantly be shifting and changing to make our company the best that it can be, but also to help change the industry for people who don't know where to go from here and who don't know what they're looking for and who don't know how to train a salesperson or, how to train office staff at all, or what you even need to do that. Like, I'm just really excited about that. And I just love being able to help people.
you're doing a great job at it, and you've helped me a ton.
Thanks.
Well,
Thanks.
everyone, I think that is a good catch-up episode. Be looking
Yes.
out for some exciting things to come as we love paying it forward and making sure that y'all know everything. But don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends, leave a comment, drop below what you've been doing. Go ahead and leave a comment of everything you've been doing these last few months and how you're building your foundation, what you're stuck on, what's your bottleneck. Share. We love to hear it so we can get some inspo of where our listeners are and how we can help them with our next episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. We look forward to it. We hope you guys have a great one.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.